You know, that is Coprolalia. Hey, blah, blah, blah. The only podcast that has been and continues to be. I'm here with Giles.
Hello.
And I'm Rhath. I can't remember what I go as on this podcast.
Hello.
Our bloody teleporting machine has malfunctioned, which it has done, as far as I can recall, every single time for like the last 6 episodes, and we don't intend to get it fixed, because you don't come here for planning or functionability. You don't come here for good podcast content.
What are you doing here?
We found ourselves in a bloody bird's nest. It shrunk us down again. I don't know why it keeps shrinking us down. Last time we shrunk down inside of a skull, and this time we're now little baby birds.
I don't even remember what it feels like to be a regular sized person.
It's easier to buy shoes when you're full size.
Yeah.
And they portion out meals correctly.
Yeah, but you can save money on buying almost no food at all.
We can just eat birdseed at this point. Birdseed's pretty cheap. On that note, there's a bloody big bird coming. So, on the topic of cheap, let's bloody put some cheaps right here. Let's try and fool this big old bird, convince it we're baby birds, and maybe he'll bloody give us a tasty morsel.
I'm not at all hungry for worms.
cheap. Fooled that bird. It gave us a little worm.
You sound like the Mongolian death whistle.
It does. Sounds exactly. I assume earthworms were the inspiration for such a whistle.
So that's the worm screaming.
We aren't baby birds. We just fooled that big baby bird. So we're not going to eat you, little worm. So you're free to hang out and chat with us if you prefer.
Yeah. Do you speak English, worm?
You boys think you're so fucking coy, don't ya?
Hang on, little bird. I'm just going to have to. I can't hear you, but that's alright. I've got this microphone. I'm going to put it in front of you so I can just. There you go. I'm going to turn you up, and I'm going to wear these headphones so I can hear you fine. All right. How you going there, little worm?
I was all right before, the whole
being caught by the worm.
What were you doing before you got pulled out of the ground?
My wife was actually delivering a bunch of baby worms.
I swear that happened recently as well. We keep encountering animals that are birthing new families, and we suddenly have intervened for some reason.
Oh, that's really interesting. My wife's dead.
And she was giving birth?
Well, yeah.
Did the baby survive?
Oh God, no.
Was it being pulled out and then it tore in half? Oh,
Jesus.
I was pushing it back in to shield it from the bird.
Oh my god.
Alright. Well, do you want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about your wife dying, or would you prefer to talk about game remasters?
How about
video
my name?
Video game remasters.
Sure. I'm Conor, the worm, by the way.
Conor, what was the last remaster you played that disappointed you in every way?
Oh, that disappointed me.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Colossus?
No. Maybe Devil May Cry?
Yeah, I heard that was garbage. The remake.
Well, not the remaster of, like, DMC, as in, like, the collection for, like, PS3 of the first 3 games.
Oh, okay, yeah. Why? What happened to it?
If I remember, the frame rate was really, really shit, at least on the PS3 version.
You
also
played...
didn't... Sorry?
I believe you've played games longer than I have, or at least like you've played more games for longer than I have. If that makes more sense.
Yes, I've played them for 300 years.
I didn't know Worms lived anywhere remotely near that long. Coprolalia learning has shitty ports. Sorry, shitty frame rate, shitty bugs all the time. Has that just been more commonplace for a lot longer than I realize, or am I incorrect in thinking that game studios or not studios, game publishers are far more confident in putting out broken games now than they used to be like 10 years ago?
I think it just depends. Like, because there are some really broken old games.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, a good example is Daikatana. You ever play that one?
No. I've pretty much I had a Mac computer and a 64 all my life, so I have had very little chance to play many games.
It's by John Romero. John Romero? Yeah, the guy who was part of the Doom team.
Yeah. Romero, yeah.
And it's, all the stuff was Romero's gonna make you his bitch, and it was like gonna be the next big game, and then it was like a glitchy piece of shit that barely worked and looked like it was a decade older than it should have been at the time.
Decade old? What?
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Wait, what?
What do you mean? A decade older, what do you mean?
Okay, so it was like, as in, for its time, like, games had moved on, and it looked like the old Quake games when we were at the new Quake games, which are now the old Quake games. So, like, I don't know, like, I think they're getting away with it more often now, because, fix it later, but...
It has to stop at some point. There has to be some more backlash. I don't understand how it can... There should be... I thought there were laws against it. Like, if you're selling a broken product, that goes against... Like, if you're selling a product that you advertise as working, and it doesn't work, then that should be illegal? Surely?
Yeah, I think it is, technically.
I don't know if... Because, like, I mean, return policies exist. So, I mean, I think that's sort of the thing that cancels that out.
Yeah, right. I just keep recalling, like, Assassin's Creed has been, like, broken for, like, the past 3 entries or something like that.
Assassin's Creed's been broken since the first game. Controversial opinion. But well, like, I played, like, Syndicate, and that one seems to have worked, like, right from the start. I think Ubisoft's finally learned from that, because everyone's like, stop it, that's dumb.
Yeah, I played a bit of Syndicate. They throw in a grappling hook to make it, like, quicker.
It's not a great game, but it's a working game.
Yeah. It's got that old-timey England feel.
Yeah, Victorian London.
Yeah, London. London.
Coming round to London.
Come on down to London.
We've got pies and beer.
That's Scottish, mate. That accent.
No, I am traditional English family.
Why are you talking about my accent, man?
That's Jamaican. Where are we going with this?
To Jamaica, man.
I am 100% English-born man.
I'll die for the Queen, man.
I'm just like you. English. From London.
I'm trying to think of other things that people from England do that I can joke about, but I can't think of anything besides the Queen and
that's fair.
Tea drinking.
So
would you
people in
like a cup of tea, man, while we talk
Queen.
about how good the Queen is. I don't know what accent I just did. Anyway, now I know it seems absurd, but I think we went to school together, little worm.
Yeah, we all went to the same school, I think.
Yeah, probably. I was probably eating all the shit that you guys left behind.
In fact, I think
I remember you eating shit.
Yeah.
I think we all ate shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
So I thought we'd talk about the trauma of high school. Because
God, no.
I'm still
no.
I think I'm still very much recovering from high school and primary school, for that matter. My confidence was shot by it.
I've got a question.
Yep.
What was probably the most obnoxious day of school?
Obnoxious day.
Like, say, what was just like, of all the shitty days of school, was there a day where just like the most obnoxious thing took place?
I think yeah. I know the worst thing I did that was the most obnoxious. Not the worst thing I did. I probably did worse, but this was bad. Was started basically a war between you and me. Which is basically...
Of which I wasn't really like... It's not like I set up a team or a side or anything.
No, what it was more was just me bitching about you and getting other people on my side.
Those days.
I don't remember. I have no idea why or what it was about. And maybe you have a better recollection of it.
I think there was just enough people who thought I was a dick that you staged what would you call it? Like a mutiny?
A revolution?
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck that kid.
No, it was a revolution. You don't remember, Giles? Like, you'd be walking down the hallways and, like, all the people in the class would throw their chairs and, like, all the stuff to build a barricade to stop you from coming through.
Can you hear the people sing?
Yep.
I remember some guy throwing himself off a bridge into the river.
Wow.
It's a heartfelt moment.
That's trauma.
That's a lot of trauma. Alright, what's yours? I don't know where to go with that particular question. But
okay,
yours?
Since you described a day where you did something terrible.
Yep.
Let's see. I won't say his name just because he's not here to like.
Yeah, no name
defend
drops.
himself or anything.
Protect the innocent. Maybe.
So there was a kid. There was a kid who copped most of it, probably.
Yeah, Big Jim, we call him.
Yeah, we'll call him Big Jim.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't even think I did it. I just witnessed it and didn't step in.
Oh, he just made the most mediocre pizza.
Sorry, the most mediocre what?
Pizza. That's a local joke.
That's enough to cause untold nightmare of a childhood.
Anyway, Big Jim. Someone took Big Jim's hat and threw it through a window. And while Big Jim was leaning inside to get his hat,
oh fuck yeah, I remember this.
They went and pulled down his pants.
I wasn't there when this happened. I heard of it through probably one of you two.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was stuck halfway between. His top half was in the window. His bottom half was his pants down. I don't know if he was stuck there for a little while or not, or whether he recovered quickly. But
I'm pretty sure he kind of fell out backwards and like freaked out.
Shit. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Funny enough, most of my, I guess, trauma from that was pretty much related to all the dacking and stuff. No one dacked me, but I was constantly paranoid about it, and I think it still affects me because I don't leave the house without a belt on. And I actually think that's repercussions of
okay,
7, 8.
That's a good. Okay, first of all, I want to go on the record and say, getting pants while you're stuck in a window is objectively hilarious. But that coupled with everything else we did to Big Jim, I can only imagine the sort of emotional trauma he had to go through, like what kind of self-esteem issues that conjures for
probably
him.
bred.
Hey, Big Jim, we love you now. You're much better than Domino's.
Then what?
Bit of a local joke.
Oh. He said Domino's. Another pizza joke. We're just going to leave the
I'm sorry if my humor is too
humor.
complicated.
That's a moray? I don't know. So I would like to then ask, what kind of emotional strain or what? Where can you? What? How can I fucking word this question?
He's holding back tears.
What sort of damage? I'm choking on a nut. I've been eating nuts this entire time, which is a bad idea for a podcast. Yeah.
I choke on nuts really easy.
Well, thank you for joining us on the podcast.
This has been great. It's been a good episode. What sort of emotional damage do you think was done during high school that you can actually kind of identify now and you're trying to fix? Yeah.
Rise Desert Creature.
Well, that brings me to mine. Because I'm not gonna for a second pretend I wasn't awful during high school, and I'm not going to for a second pretend that I was doing anything particularly interesting with my personality, my character, or what I created. Because I don't think many kids that age do. It's a weird, shitty time where everyone's just experimenting and trying to figure out what the fuck who they are, what they're doing, and what they like doing.
However, I once did a spread for our Jehovah's Witness friend. I drew a picture of Jehovah himself and all
the
of the
Great
people,
Jehovah, you called him.
Yeah, and all of the people who witnessed the Great Jehovah basically slaughter an entire town.
It's basically a big dragon monster breathing fire.
It had a tentacle mouth, and it looked like a Warhammer 40k character with just like guns for arms, and it was just slaughtering everybody. And that's the Jehovah's Witnesses are actually the witness protection program.
I like the joke.
It was a pretty good drawing. That was a response to you saying that no one did anything.
Do you think Lovecraft
was younger?
You think Lovecraft was inspired by Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think Lovecraft was a Jehovah's Witness.
He invented it. He was the original Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
If Jehovah is just another name for Cthulhu, that'd be hilarious.
I think the music's a bit loud.
Yeah, I have no idea what you just said.
Let me turn that down.
Hey man, I'm just a worm. My ears, Ooh.
The machine that teleports us places also plays music. I don't understand this machine at all.
It's an exceptionally stupid machine. Good content, maybe.
Terrible. That's great.
I think just to be, I don't even know what to say about it since considering what I'm doing now. But like my interest in drawing, I was always interested visually. I was just always interested in visuals and graphic design and stuff like that. And I spent a lot of time at home working on Photoshop and drawing and stuff like that. High school killed that. Just absolutely slaughtered my interest in visuals. Mainly because of
We did that.
I mean, you did.
But it's probably because we had our confidence slaughtered, and then we just repeated that cycle of abuse.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this is why I wanted to talk about because, you actually had the idea, but this is why I was super keen because it's not like an intervention and saying like you guys fucked me up, motherfuckers. We did. We all just like destroyed each other's confidence based on our own insecurities, and we were all horrid to one another.
We had I think we had some particularly traumatized circle of people.
Nobody wanted to be at the bottom.
Yeah, and well, there was that.
Through that, everybody was.
But also, just having any sort of abuse in your life when you're younger will actually fill you with a darker sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a different kind of tension that needs to be relieved by humor. So we just happened to know I guess there was just weirder kids in our circle. It just the sense of humor got really dark really quick, and then it became like no one wanted to be the butt of the joke.
Yeah. It's now it's turned to self-deprecating humor a bit, which I'm starting to move away from. But like the cartoons especially were at times self-deprecating.
Yeah.
And I think
I am all about suicide humor now.
Are you okay?
Hmm?
You cool?
What?
You good?
Hmm?
Yeah? We'll talk about that later. Yeah, but back in that day, it was just solely attacking one another, just constantly. Not as much physically, though, as you mentioned before, Connor, with the pantsing and the sack tapping. Good lord. Jesus.
I believe it was called Bangkok.
It's not a new idea. Everyone goes through a shitty childhood pretty much, but like the fact that a person's confidence can be so completely shattered at such a young age. It can be so difficult to get back up from that.
Yeah.
I've managed to kind of push myself to do. I think I've seen all of us push ourselves to do something anyway. So it's good to see that everyone's kind of gone out of it and survived. But
I've totally made an effort to just ignore the lessons that I learnt from that period of time, essentially.
And I learned how to tie a noose.
Why
are you laughing?
Because I can't wait for you to die.
Oh no, that's fair.
So I can eat you. Yeah, it started in primary school for me, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a Catholic primary school, and it was a pretty damn... I don't know, there were a bunch of fucked up kids in that school. And, yeah, once again, it was like a free-for-all, and if you had low status, you were like... I think because of the whole angel-devil archetype thing that they teach in those schools, like they really don't like kids who are weird in Catholic schools. It's like you're either relatable to Jesus or you're relatable to like a demon.
Yeah, Jesus, that's intense.
Yeah, and it's incredibly judgmental and like punishing. So yeah, there was periods of time where people in the class liked me, and then there were periods of time where I just talked too much, and the teacher would just be so nasty.
Teacher's like, "Oh, that boy's going to hell."
Yeah, if I was from a time period where they hit kids, I would have been hit a lot.
That's I think that's the side of school that I am very glad I didn't go through, and I feel really bad for you that you did with because it was my peers, which was you guys and a whole bunch of other people, that railroaded me for however long, 7 years. But you also had
to fuck you every single day.
Pardon?
Excuse me?
I just reinterpreted railroaded to just we would fuck you.
Just bukkake 365.
Yeah, we would railroad
ass
you
to ass.
And make you do ass to ass.
But yeah, you copped a lot of shit from teachers as well, which
Yeah.
Oh, Giles. I remember you and the teachers.
Yeah. And for me, I had a few teachers who kind of, I wouldn't say supported, but encouraged me enough in the idea that like they taught me that I wasn't a completely worthless piece of shit. And so them coupled with my parents.
That's so nice.
Pardon?
That's so nice. A teacher actually made you feel good about yourself?
Yeah, a few of them. That was great.
Wasn't our maths teacher though, right? Remember that? Year 9?
Nah.
Her?
Nah.
Who will be not nameless.
Yeah, nameless. But we had a few maths teachers, so I don't remember. Maths definitely made me feel like an idiot. And
I want to know this though. What's this story?
There's no actual story. She was just awful.
Okay.
Wait, sorry?
She was a teacher who, if I remember, I can't remember why, right? But like it was like the last day of the year, and she gave you back your maths homework and said she didn't like it or something like that. After she had already given it back to you, I think, for you to redo. So you redid it, and then she just gave it back to you and said like, nah. So you just scrunched it up into a ball, threw it in the air, and then I caught it and I ate it.
Oh, shit! Shit.
And it took me the whole class to swallow it because it was a full page of paper.
What?
Yeah, fuck.
It was just spontaneous. I don't know why.
Yeah, no.
It was awful.
Holy shit. That's a fucking mind fuck. I totally remember. I mean,
That's so funny.
What the fuck was she doing? What a fucking thing to do to a child. I'd like to point out what damage she did then as well, because it's taken me until maybe a year ago to realize that I wasn't dumb. I felt for a very long time that because I couldn't spell and I got so much shit because of my handwriting, my spelling during school.
Yeah,
as well.
that was a lot of me.
So that
I used to
coupled
make
with
fun of fun of you only being able to spell like 2-letter words or something.
yeah, I remember that. That was good.
I remember so many inside jokes just related to Rye, and I feel it was probably bad.
I don't remember much of it.
Well, there was the one which was...
you ate that page.
That's good. That's a good bit.
Not a bit, though. It's just a true story.
No, it was a bit. I bit into that paper.
Oh, I see.
Hey, Rye, remember the $62?
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty funny story.
Remember the $62?
I got into Warhammer, and I figured that... Wait, when was this? I think this was in... I'm thinking of two different time periods, I think, but at one point I printed out a just absolute astronomically huge amount of paper for can't remember what reason. I was either printing out tabletop wargaming rulebooks or I was doing some other dumb shit like that.
Maybe it was a flash game and it just printed every single frame of it or something.
Maybe.
I thought it was
No, because I think there's two different things.
Yeah, I think two different stories. What's your recollection, Giles?
Once again, I want to avoid names, so this will be Slim Jim. Slim Jim used your account to download a 70 gigabyte game or like a 40 gigabyte game.
Yeah.
And they shut down the internet for a couple days because of the because the download limit had been hit or something.
Then they told you had to pay back the school $62.
Yeah. And Mum told them to
never
go fuck
did.
themselves.
Yeah, you never did.
No, I took it. Yeah, I took it to Mum, and she's like, "No, we don't have. No, they're not getting $62. Ridiculous."
I remember because then for the next 3 years, I would just go $62.
But people from the senior campus, which was a school on the other side of town, knew your name. They knew it was you who got the internet shut down.
Oh Jesus! I think I've blocked a lot of shit out from high school. I don't remember. I remember these. I remember phrases. I remember $62. I remember that as a phrase, but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
Do you remember the other one, which was in joke between Giles and I, which was "What the hell, Rye?"
Oh yeah, my voice broke.
Yeah. There's no context to that story. That was it.
So this seems to be an episode of just reliving all the worst parts of high school.
Yeah,
without actually learning anything. So that's good.
No. We learned stuff. Can't remember it, but we learned.
I'm just trying to think of stuff now.
Right, does it
hurt?
Nah.
I remember going to the canteen a lot and getting Fuse.
Yeah.
Shit.
The iced teas or whatever. No, they weren't iced teas. They were
was mineral water.
Yeah, it was flavored mineral water pretty much.
And curly whirlies. Yeah. Hang on, what about the story about Rye's desert creature? Because I brought it up before.
Okay, so that actually plays into... Because I guess this is kind of a podcast about us as artists anyway, so this kind of ties in. And this is why I didn't draw for, I don't know how long, 4, 5 years?
No, there were a couple more reasons why that contributed to that, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't just that one drawing. It was several bits and pieces.
Let's go through all of them.
I know of two.
We can retrace Rye's steps back to where it all went wrong.
Through the desert.
I drew a desert creature. I don't know why.
It was a class.
It was something to do with evolution and how desert animals had evolved, and the whole thing was we all had to design a desert creature.
Yeah. And mine was bad, apparently. I think it was. I think it was objectively bad.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
No, your one.
I think this is the one thing, though, about looking back at those times, looking back when you guys just tore... okay, first of all, did you steal my drawing of the desert creature?
No. All right. Here's what happened. Because I still remember how to draw your desert creature. No, what happened was you specifically designed yours to be the strongest one out of the whole class.
Yeah.
You were I'm going to make mine so nothing can kill it. So Giles and I designed ours specifically evolved to hunt and kill your one just to eat it.
And they literally survived from eating your creature.
And so we drew all of our ones just eating your desert creature.
Yeah.
And so I got really good at drawing your desert creature being sliced open.
Yeah, I had my creature had really long, sharp, like pincers or something. It just had these long bladed pincer things that could go in between the armor of your creature, and
yeah.
I think mine was like just a big ball of like fur, but it would just like crush yours by running over it.
All right. So as far as I can tell, though, it seems like I had some sort of ego, at least that I had to be the best or something, or I'm not sure if I could have handled failure. I'm not sure what it was, because this rings a bell with a couple of other things. Like I think I designed a superhero as well that was basically just undefeatable, which is my most hated trait of any child. Is like, nah, fuck you, I'm magic, you can't fucking beat me. I'm Superman, and I'm also Harry Potter.
Nah, I'm a ghost. You can't kill a ghost.
That's it.
Yeah,
I remember your character was called Shadow or something, and
the hedgehog.
You couldn't touch him. Like you'd phase through him. He could turn invisible, and he was like, he was like basically invincible. Those were all the different traits.
All right, whatever we did, I don't feel bad about it now.
Yeah, no, fair. I needed to be cut down, and I think it's fine. I think I was born broken, and now I'm rebuilding. You guys saw that. And saw to fixing, at least cutting me down so I could reborn.
So you could be born again.
Yep. So lesson of that story, I guess, if you see a shitty kid, cut them the fuck down.
I mean,
make sure they know
I still remember your character, Timmy, you used to draw all the time.
Yep, I remember that guy.
Beanie with eyes and like stick figure arms.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any body.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I drew a comic of him in a blender. There's no punchline.
It's being blended.
Yeah.
I don't know what the moral of the story is, because
clearly most of my creative output was just on your creations.
I guess there's something. I don't know.
you should do that to actual artists. Like start
blend.
A Facebook page. Yeah, you take like that Shen Comics guy. Just take his character and just like have comics where he gets slaughtered.
Or do Control-Alt-Delete.
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
yep, and then do a loss.
Do a loss.
It's someone like deliberately like punching her in the stomach.
Oh my god.
And putting it in a blender.
Everything ends in a blender.
Yeah, with just like
with Timmy and the desert
blended.
Creature. Ugh, I have like a memory that kind of makes me feel bad going on Rye again. Hey Rye.
Yeah, right. I'm stronger now. I can take anything.
Apparently, at some point, you thought that I was just really good at everything that you tried to do. I don't know why. Because you were wrong.
Yeah. No, I definitely remember this.
Because I just remember when we had to go on like a thing for ice skating years ago, and like you had been ice skating before, and I'd never done it before.
Yeah.
And you were like, I just remember you saying like, "Oh, cool, I'm gonna be better at you at something finally."
Yeah.
And then I got the hang of ice skating really quickly, and
yes, you did.
Started doing it better.
Yeah.
Why do I remember that?
I don't know what it is. I think there's something, and I think this is still a thing, is that I always felt like I was second best. Well, not second best. I always felt like I wasn't any good at things, and I wanted to be good at something. I wanted to be able to do something better than the other people in my group, and I never got there. And I don't know where it's come from. My only theory is that it's because of my brother, who's an amazing musician and has like picked that up instantly and always was. And I always wanted to be a musician. Like the first thing I wanted to be. No, the first thing I wanted to be was a comedian. I don't know why. And then the second thing, which is very early on still, this is primary school. I was like, I'm definitely going to be a musician. There's no question about it. I'm going to be a musician. And then Bren was amazing at it instantly. And I'm not sure if that was it, but that certainly cut me down. And maybe I've just been playing second fiddle for the rest of my entire life. Don't know.
Well...
Yeah, you were second to this guy on my PS2 all the time.
I think it's important to remember with subjective art, that best is always going to be different depending on who you are. So, like, you drawing or playing music at your apex is going to sound and look entirely different than someone else who's at their best, at their what's the term?
Apex. Peak.
Zenith.
Yeah, good word. Very good word. Yeah, I've...
Clearly my best was
lesson.
Just... Clearly my best was just drawing Rye's things dying. I was a good friend.
You peaked early.
I was a pinnacle. I was a kind boy.
So I just remembered something.
Yeah.
Quite often, if Rye sat in front of us during
oh god,
a science class or whatever, we'd try and draw.
On the back of my
actually,
neck.
no. Okay, let's
didn't try.
at the beginning.
Very much succeeded. Mom got fucking angry.
That's actually
every
a
day.
joke that evolved from an earlier point, which was we used to draw.
Didn't we used to write Santa?
Yeah, we used to write Santa on each other's workbooks when we weren't looking. Or when the other person wasn't looking. It was just a game of, let's see if we can get Santa onto their workbooks somewhere.
There was nothing clever about that.
Well, we're children. Nothing about any of this was clever from any
But
of us.
No, Rye, we were heroes.
We'd still try and push it as far as we could. So I'd open up my book and there'd be an entire page just covered with Santa.
Well, because I remember the goal was to do it when they didn't know you were doing it. So they'd look back and be like,
If you could get a whole fucking page done, you were a goddamn legend.
God, Rye, I used to mess with you all the time. I just remembered I used to do that before that in like year 7, where every time you'd turn around, I'd empty your entire pencil case in front of you and just pretend that I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I remember that now. I didn't.
In woodworks class.
I think I must have just been a reactionary child.
I was a cute little troubled boy.
Because clearly I must have been giving something back. I must have been freaking out in a particular way. I think that's why we picked on Big Jim as well. I don't know if that makes any of this okay or an excuse.
I think
or anything.
it was also partly because no one expected you to lash out maliciously or anything.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, other people in our class who will remain nameless, I could picture them at least getting kind of angry about it and then getting not physical, but
so is this
trying to get you back twice as hard.
So is this real? There you go.
You've actually reminded me of one time a thing didn't go properly.
Oh, he misspelled Santa.
What? Yeah. One time. It was actually Big Jim who came up behind me and then pulled my pants down while we're at the lockers while I was talking to a girl. Pulled my pants down to my below my knees. Like it was
Damn.
And I quickly pulled them up. She pretended to not see or whatever out of awkwardness.
Right. Giles, she saw everything.
I turned around and I want to call this dude a number of mean names, but how will you know who it is?
Let's call him Gilgamesh.
He was one of the guys who was clearly in the art stream just to avoid doing any harder work.
Sure.
You don't remember?
Not sure which one. What was the first letter of his name?
J.
No, I'm out. Got nothing.
Well, anyway,
hang on, Ray. I'll Facebook message you his name.
Yeah, sweet. Do that.
he was one of the more bogany kids.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I turned around. I thought it was him, and so I went up to him because I was mad.
Yeah.
And I just like started pulling his pants down, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he like picked me up and threw me on the ground.
Yeah.
And
I just realized I don't know how to spell his last name. It's fine. You'll.
It's
Oh shit. Yeah.
He threw me on the ground, and I hit like the corner of the doorway or something, and it was just painful.
Oh my god.
And embarrassing, and I was like, this sucks. And I know that Big Jim was off somewhere laughing about the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Mission failure. We'll get him next time, boys.
So
it sounds like it was simply a case of all of us. Well, as you said before, Connor, we were at the bottom. But we just didn't want to be at the bottom of the bottom, and we were all fighting desperately to stay afloat amongst the lowest ranking kids.
I don't know what you're
school.
talking about. I was top tier, bro.
yeah, I was pretty top tier too, Ray. I don't know what you're talking about.
I can't catch a break. I'm always going to be down here.
I was like best fighting choices possible.
I deliberately throughout school refused to play along with status quo. Like I wouldn't not talk to someone because they're of low status, and I wouldn't pay any. If someone had high status, I would actually deliberately not pay them any attention. Like
but
I want to point out,
but within our group.
When I say I was top tier, I was joking, but anyway, continue.
Yeah.
But you were top tier, dude. You were like fucking Chad. You would go to school with popped collars and just like tons of
I had like a sweater tied around my shoulders.
Yeah.
All the
I
time.
do remember a windbreaker situation and wraparound sunglasses quite frequently.
I was like, I'd show up to school in like a horse carriage, and Rye would be walking, and I'd be like, Rye, would you kindly lie down in that muddy puddle? I don't want my horse's booties to get dirty.
So just within our own friend group, basically punching down to try and assert dominance as much as possible.
Yeah. It's a dominance hierarchy in its most immature form.
Yeah. And those are the things that create all the damage. And there was a lot of damage.
Well, look where we are now. I'm a worm.
If we had Flex Seal, we would have been fine. But we didn't.
Do you remember some other embarrassing things, Ray?
Is it bad that I can only remember embarrassing things for Rye?
I'm suddenly remembering more embarrassing things for Ray too. However,
I've got several.
I was plenty embarrassed. Plenty.
I'm pretty sure I had moments, but I think I was just really good at just forgetting them.
I think I had a particularly romantic idea of what how I was supposed to act or things I could do, and I.
Well, speaking of romantic,
that's what I was going to say. Is
yeah.
my romance, the romance side of high school was probably by far the most traumatic side of the whole ordeal.
To be fair, one of them that happened to you was really, really mean. That they did.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about it. We just can't say names.
Yeah.
If you want.
If it's any consolation, Ray, I'm pretty sure she liked me, and I never reciprocated.
Cool. Yeah, it makes me feel way better.
Mission failure. We'll get him next time, boys.
Bros before hoes. Look at us now, Ray.
I think that was simply a case of being introverted, maybe. I don't know, just being a bit of a loner in primary school. I didn't talk to anyone, so then when I came to talking to people, crashed and burned instantly every single time.
Yeah, but I mean, you were really polite and everything. Like, honestly, it was probably just her insecurity that was being flared up.
Should we add context?
No.
Or no?
It's up to
you.
Ray.
Up to you,
It's
right?
up to Ray.
Basically, I just asked a girl out via email, and it was a very long-winded, polite, to a hilarious degree.
I still remember some of the lines, but I won't say them.
Yeah, let's not go for the lines. I think the lines can die. They're done.
But the worst part though was that she basically showed the whole class the letter, or the email, and that's like, oh, that was awful.
Yeah, so it didn't work, obviously.
I didn't actually see the emails. She told me about it, and I just went like, nah.
I was sitting next to her when she got it.
Oh, Jesus. I would have to say probably the most embarrassing thing I've experienced. Can't think of many others. There's been a couple of other ones where I also asked out girls, also in that friend group, and they all failed miserably.
I think you asked one of them out twice.
Probably.
No. You asked her out once by yourself, but the first time you got, I think, Giles to ask her out for.
Yeah. And I did it. I did it properly. Like I didn't sabotage it.
I'm sorry, Ray.
That's whatever. Shit happens, and it's. I'm happy to look back and to see what. I know. It's like when people say like, "Oh man, high school or all those early years, just the best time of your life. You're gonna love every second of it." And
they're full of shit. Every time
it was absolutely the worst time of my entire life, and things have only gotten better. So
they were probably homeschooled with video games. So.
Maybe. Still an awful time though. You still don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't know who you are, and even up until like the last maybe 2 years, I still haven't had any proper understanding of
high school's
who I am.
High school's great. You just sit around in your pajamas playing Carmen Sandiego to learn about history.
Time in San Diego?
That's the way to do it. Carmen Sandiego.
Carmen Sandiego.
Have you guys got anything? Have you guys got any horribly traumatic experiences from high school that
okay,
I'm gonna try to
up till this think point. Of ones. I'm gonna try to think of ones that aren't related to Ray.
Yeah, sweet.
That
sounds great.
I got asked out by like 6 girls.
Oh,
cool. That's so traumatic.
It was so weird. It's very weird.
You poor soul.
Well, none of them were actually like, they were too shy or whatever to actually do anything.
So I remembered one.
Just like most of them were just them like having a crush and just like sending me texts and stuff. God, when the goddamn 1 cent text plan came out with Telstra, dude, it was all about just texting non-stop. And it was
goddamn
bullshit, and I hated it. And that's why Facebook Messenger exists today. It used to be 1 cent texts.
Bro,
1 cent text and MSNs.
Yeah, MSN was where it
was.
Yeah,
I forgot about MSN.
I hated that time period. Looking back now, it was all garbage. And anyone who says 2018 is a bad time, maybe
has forgotten about Facebook Messenger.
Politically, like, it's pretty volatile, but there's still, it's just so good. So many good things. Technology is incredible, and there's so much more diversity and places for people to go to find their crowd. Like, anyone can find their salvation on the internet.
I remembered trauma.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I remembered trauma.
Oh yeah, do it. Hit us up.
Go.
Do you remember when we were at the junior campus, and it was, I think, year 9 when we were all hanging out in that little court area?
Yeah.
Sure.
Where we used to bang the balls against the walls.
Yeah. Play handball, bit of bounce ball band.
Oh, I remember that spot. That was fucking great.
We definitely needed a bigger ball.
The game was called Residue Heroes.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
That was so much fun.
Oh, I remember.
This is the worst side of nostalgia.
I remember these like 2 girls, 2 girls, or whatever. They were like a year or 2 younger than us, who would show up and just stand around, and all they did was call me E.T.
Huh.
Aww. Wow, that's probably like racism.
I don't know. I think they just thought it was like, he looks funny.
Or it could be like a crush. That's how some people handle crushes.
Oh no. Oh god, no.
Yeah, maybe. People do all, I don't know, kids are... Their actions have no correlation, as far as I can tell, to what they're actually feeling. Or
I'm just saying, like, with me back there, oh no.
Sorry, I was laughing. This image flashed into my brain. This one kid was just like, he was trying out our group. We used to have a lot of people who would just like visit our group and see if they gelled with us.
We had a casting couch.
Yeah. And we just we'd railroad them.
It's a very, very sexual time.
No. Someone was gonna like pretend. I gotta calm down from this laughter. Sorry. Someone was gonna pretend to like kick him in the nuts, but he did a squat at the same time. So
that was me who kicked. I remember. No,
he squatted into the thing, kicked in the nuts.
No, I remember because I was the one who kicked him. No, what happened was my wallet like opened and all my money fell out. And he went for it, and as a joke warning, I went to pretend kick him, and his flinching reaction was to crouch down, so he got the full impact of it.
That's so dumb to laugh at as much as I've been laughing.
It's terrible, because I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
He just made it happen. I swear I felt shockwaves after that one.
I have actually remembered a beef I had with a teacher. It was he was a PE teacher, and I think I just used to laugh at inappropriate times, and he just hated that. But one time he was describing basketball, and he just said, "There's a reason that it's called the fastest balls on earth." And that was enough. That was enough to just set me off. That was one of the occasions where like a teacher was empathetic, because once I was in a laughing fit, it was really hard for me to stop.
Yeah.
And so he just like got down to my level, and he just went, "Look, if you want to leave the room for just a little while so you can get it out of your system."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Thanks." And I just like walked out and just like allowed the absurdity of it to just like pass through me.
Oh, that reminds me of the time that same teacher. Remember year 8 camp? I can't remember who it was, but someone was like pretending to be him and saying some really messed up like pedophile related stuff about him. And then the next day, I think he went up to you, Giles.
Yeah.
The next day, and he was like, "It's some interesting conversations you boys had last night."
Yeah.
Jesus.
He said, "Seems you kids need a bit of a sex ed lesson."
Oh my God.
Or something like that.
Some of the teachers were just the worst. I wonder if a lot of this shit would be solved by just paying teachers more and having more and better teachers on schools.
Yeah.
Where they can keep an eye on kids better and support them better and encourage them.
Well, if it's a high paying job though, you've probably got more chance of people just doing it for the money. That said, that's not a good reason to underpay teachers, but
yeah.
Nah, man, make sure you got good teachers. Don't give them too much.
I'm your new teacher, Weinstein.
You just make it so it's like you have to study longer and harder as well, perhaps though, and like it would just be like the standards would be high. If you
study harder,
if you're only in it for the money, you still have to do a good job, or you just get fired because there's other people who want the money and who also put in the hours to be better as a teacher.
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean, give students more power to leave comments and feedback on the teachers that they have.
Oh fuck yeah, that would be amazing.
A suggestion
possibly
box.
A nightmare though. Would also ruin teachers' faith in children or faith in humanity. We definitely tormented a few teachers.
The problem with that though, if the students could all have a voice like that, you know they're gonna totally take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of us being mean to teachers. I remember one time our class making a certain teacher cry. Not me though. I was away sick, so that's all on you pricks.
Yeah, we did that. We just wouldn't shut up.
Which teacher was that? Was that Mr. I'll say something that rhymes with it.
Sure.
Mr. Fellow.
Yes, I think it was him.
Yeah.
Okay. He was a younger guy as well.
Yeah. He
Mr.
wasn't...
Fellowship of the Ring, yes.
He wasn't like he wasn't a bad teacher, but he also there was one time where it was actually all of the girls at the back of the class, like completely, and they were like picking on another girl in the class, and I just like made a single effort to like fight back on that because I just did not like seeing that happen, which is ironic because I could do it myself to other people, but I didn't like seeing other people get high off that shit.
Yeah.
And what they did was like I got in trouble for like because they all decided to gang up on me, and they're just like you should send him out of the class and all of this stuff, and he just like complied.
Yeah.
And I was like, you fucking weak piece of shit.
I mean, again, he was like I think it was like his first teaching job.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was trying to get control back, and he just like he thought he'd throw them a bone or something, and I got thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
So while I was kicked out of the classroom for just trying to defend this kid,
No, that's fair.
the girls went and grabbed my pencil case and just like emptied it onto the floor.
You deserved it.
Yeah. That's not the only time the girls were fucking mean too.
Honestly, they were mostly pretty mean to me.
I got one final story because we've been ranting for ages. I got one final story.
Oh god, I think we need to do a part 2.
These couple of girls, they thought it'd be really funny. They thought I'd notice, but they blue tacked some like clothes pins to my chair. Like they put one on the bottom on the seat bit and one on the back bit, and I just sat down straight onto it. It wasn't in the middle, like directly in the middle of the chair. So the pin actually went into one of my butt cheeks.
Ooh.
And the back one stabbed into my back. Not very far because I wasn't comfortable enough to lean back into it. But I was like, funny joke, guys. Like,
What's the lesson here? Because I was expecting this
trust
episode to go
girls.
more like we all just talk about how shit we were and figure out like what kind of damage it's done, but we just kind of relived.
I just want to point
literally-
out, we never stabbed each other.
No, we didn't.
Yeah,
stab each
true.
other.
We did go to school and have blood all over our lockers from other people stabbing each other, but
Yeah, still wasn't.
I think
wasn't.
Giles
a
also
violent school.
once had a potato he forgot about.
so
and a milk.
I'll
as well.
tell that story.
You left a bowl of
couple
milk in there as well.
The girl, coincidentally, the one that was rejected by Rhath. She
Wait,
gave
which
me a
one?
potato.
Oh, right.
She gave me a potato for my birthday. So I appreciated that she gave me a gift, but I was just like, "What? Thank you for the potato." And I threw it in the back of my locker, and didn't think about it, which was dumb because they turn into this gooey, awful green, foul-smelling thing.
Worst part is, your locker, I think, was above mine. So I think I got some of it leaking. Because I can just remember the smell still.
I had to throw out several of my exercise books, which I didn't really have a problem with. I realized that teachers, it's not like they were actually fucking reading that shit. Sorry guys, just a moment.
Okay.
Yo.
He
Anyway.
never did come back.
I guess the moral
I'm
of the
ready.
story is just
Oh, you've already
school's shit.
watched it.
Yeah, but I'm up for it.
I can't really think
And
of.
don't trust potatoes.
Don't leave potatoes.
It might be
don't
like
trust
another
them.
hour and a half or something. Alright, cool.
Um,
Alright, I'm back. I just
actually-
got another shipment of kids.
I will say the moral of the story for me has been. This has just reminded me. This is not the first time we've talked about previous experiences in school. And I know that you guys have talked to people, parts of our group from that time as well. And it's been really good, though, just to go back and talk about shit and laugh at it. And to kind of admit to each other the shitty things that we did. Like, just say how bad they were, knowing and actually hearing it from the other side does help a lot.
Do you feel a bit lighter?
I was a saint.
Man.
Get fucked.
We were all awful.
Especially you, Connor, you fucking dog.
And I'm an alcoholic, and I'm not entirely sure if that's entirely your fault, but I'm still going to blame you somewhat.
I'm not a dog, I'm a worm.
I swear to God, because I was so unaware and unself-aware throughout all of school, I managed to have some incredibly absurdly intense experiences just non-stop.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to be able to remember most of it, but I don't know. I just moved on very quickly.
One thing I can see for your character is, though we tormented each other in high school, basically for the sake of torment, it seems to, for you, have flipped over, and you've said to me numerous times that you understand the damage you did to me, to Big Jim, and a couple of other people.
Yeah.
And has completely flipped now, where there's basically not a bad bone in your body. Like, you would never have an intention to hurt anyone now.
Yeah,
and
no,
probably one of the most kind-hearted people I know.
I speak to a lot of people in hopes of like alleviating whatever like emotional damage. Not necessarily that I've done, but just like if I can see that someone would be happier or like would be achieving more and being like a better expression of themselves, I help them try and get there. It's like I'm very motivated by that because I think it's such an ugly idea that I've gotten in the way of someone being a better version of themselves. So I try. Yeah. It's like a mafioso just leaving the mafia and just going, that was bad. Getting out of prison or something and just being like, nah, I'm not going back. That was bad. Yo, that was bad. Spaghetti time.
Oh, we should end on a good story from high school.
Yeah, sweet.
Are there any?
About year 8, again with the camp.
Mm-hmm.
So all the nights they always did cabin inspections.
Oh,
see which were the cleanest.
Yeah.
And ours was always the least cleanest. They even told us ours was like the worst.
Yeah.
So on the last day,
and then they would railroad us.
God, there's so much bukkake.
So on the last day, all the teachers bukkakied on us.
They made us clean it up with our tongues.
On the last
This
day,
has been Coprolalia. Yep.
we decided, screw it, we're going to clean up our cabin and make it goddamn spotless. And we did. And to top it all off, each cabin had a Bible in the room. So Giles sat in the middle of the main bed in there, opened it up, and we all just sat around him. And when the teacher opened the door, Giles was like, "Oh, hey, just caught us catching up on some of our light Christianity."
We ended up Bible passages to them.
We ended up winning.
Yeah.
Best cabin. We got a bag of chocolates.
I love that they recognized it. Like, they didn't just think we were fucking around. They're like, that's pretty good. Good job, guys.
Yeah, we did good. We did good, kids.
Yeah. That's a great story. We all learnt to get along together.
Slim Jim wouldn't stop snacking on the breakfast cereal, so like no one got breakfast on like a couple of the mornings. I just had to get that in there. I'm still mad about it.
Wait, Slim Jim or Big Jim?
Big Jim.
It was Slim Jim and his brother.
Kawaii time.
Yeah, Kawaii time.
Yeah. Thing is that there's another little lesson that like we all deserved a little bit of shit. We were all shitty.
And yet, we read the Bible like champions.
Yep.
Like the good Christian boys
I think
we were.
we don't have to teach people morals. Like, that doesn't have to be a moral.
No. Just comment below how shitty your childhood was.
Tell us the most fucked up thing that's ever happened to you in detail.
We won't read it.
And
we'll rate it out of 10.
Yeah. And also comment if you're happy for us to share it.
Comment, and subscribe if you too have experienced trauma in your life.
Or bukkake. This has been Coprolalia.
Comment below if you haven't experienced any trauma in your life and you just feel like telling someone about that.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you like watching videos.
Thank you. I think that's the first time we've ever asked our audience to actually do something like that, like and comment.
Unsubscribe
we
right
tell
now.
them to comment. We've never told them to subscribe or like.
Unsubscribe, dislike, report.
Yeah. Make sure to report us to YouTube for copyright infringement.
That's right, www.youtube.com/burn.org.
And we'll rate your trauma out of 10.